tickets, visit fordtheaters.org or call 323-GO-1FORD.
Gonna stand there and watch me burn. That's alright, because I like the way it hurts. Just gonna.
Alright, it is a nice song. It's topping the Billboard charts. It is very catchy. It has a nice melody, but I'm not quite sure about the message it sends out, especially to a lot of youth who follow Rihanna and Eminem. Of course, this talks about violence in dating and domestic violence in general. We have talked about that on the show previously, but not concerning teens. And that's what we're going to be talking about right about now on the show. Trina Green is the program manager for Start Strong Los Angeles Alone. Welcome to the show. And Renee Polina is a volunteer, participant of POV Start Strong Los Angeles program. Kamusta? Magandang hapon sa'yo. Let's talk about the message first. Trina, you have something to say about the message that this song conveys to people who are consuming it.
Right. The message that it conveys is that teen dating violence and relationship violence and abuse is sexy and hot, and that a person who's going through that likes the way it hurts and they like the way it burns, and that's not true. The person who's in that relationship is not happy. It's an unhealthy relationship, and so we want people to know that that's not an okay relationship, especially teenagers.
All right, exactly. And especially with teenagers, we hear about domestic violence in the news. We read about it. Sometimes it's not as open as some other cases may be, but especially among teenagers, we don't really read much about it or hear much about it. Why do you think that is? And as a teenager, you're 17 years old, you're in that situation. I mean, you're not in that domestic violence situation, but you're in that circle among your peers. Do you see this happening?
Yeah, actually I do. Most kids tend to be isolated when it comes to when they have a boyfriend or when they have a girlfriend. They start to lose contact with all their other friends because that one partner controls them, and they just lose contact.
Why do you think are we not reading about this in the news or watching it or seeing about this in the news?
I think that people aren't ready to talk about it. I think that people are afraid, especially parents. They don't want to think that their teenagers are dating. You know, Start Strong, our program starts from 11 to 14-year-olds. Parents don't want to think that their 11-year-olds are dating, but they are. And it's an uncomfortable topic, but we need to talk about it because statistics show that 1 in 3 teenage girls will be in an abusive relationship before she graduates high school.
Oh, and that is so sad because you are what do you call this? It's such a negative impression on them, and then as they get older, as they grow into adults, that will leave a very bad mark in the personalities of these people. If in a relationship, what are the telltale signs of an abuser?
Well, we have this tool that we use. It's called the power and control wheel.
Okay.
And it has 8 aspects in it. And like I said earlier, isolation is one, peer pressure is one, social status, etc.
All right, we're looking at the wheel right on TV. That is the telltale signs of an abuser. What about the abused? If let's say, for example, you know, there's so many kinds of abuse. It's not just physical. So if you don't see marks and bruises, does that mean the person is not being abused?
No, because there's emotional abuse, there's mental abuse, there's psychological abuse, there's verbal abuse, sexual abuse. There's so many types of abuse. And if someone on the outside wants to determine if maybe their child is in an abusive relationship, you know, there are some signs, like maybe the child doesn't bring the partner around, the teen doesn't talk about the partner that much, they're always afraid or intimidated by the partner, you know, they lose weight, they drop out of school, their grades decline, they stop hanging out with their other friends and they're only with the partner. You know, there are some warning signs that parents could probably look for.
And for the parents that are watching right now, should they intervene? And when do they intervene? Should they wait for it to drastically decline, like, you know, dropping out of school and stuff like that, before they get in there, or should they nip it in the bud, so to speak?
We think at Peace Over Violence we focus on the early prevention. So Start Strong talks about talking to your teens before they're even in relationships. Talk to them about what a healthy relationship looks like. Tell them what a bad relationship looks like. Give them information ahead of time. You know, model for them what a healthy relationship looks like in the home so that they'll know what to look for. So in order to prevent it, parents need to talk about it and open that line of communication with their teens.
And speaking of talking about it, do you, as a teenager, I'm sure you also listened to Rihanna and Eminem. What was your first thought? What was the first thought that came to mind when you heard this song?
Well, like many people, I was just listening to it as a song, and I liked the chorus. I mean, it sounds nice, But here at PLV, we did an activity where we read the lyrics, and it gives out a very raw message about relationship abuse.
And is it not sad because it's music, and music has the power to enter our subconscious, and it's just the subconscious saying it's okay to hurt, it's okay to lie, it's okay.
Yes,
Tina.
it leaves that message that it's okay and that people are happy with this situation. And then when you see the video, it's a visual of this unhealthy, this horrific violence, this destructive relationship, and they just break up and make up and have sex and kiss, and it just misconstrues the message of violence that it's sexy.
How do you break up with an abuser?
We say it's a safety plan. There's no one way to break up, but at Peace Over Violence, we say call the hotline, build a support network. Tell your friends or family that he's abusive or that this person is abusive so that you won't do it alone. Don't do it in don't do it in private. Do it in public, in a safe space.
And how can one get involved in what you're doing at POV?
If you want to be involved and learn more about Peace Over Violence and our Start Strong program, we encourage you to go to our website. It's peaceoverviolence.org, or call. We have a 24-hour hotline if anyone needs support or they have any questions.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing what you know with us today.
Thanks
for having us.
And be safe out there, please. And to all of you that are dating in the dating circle, please make sure that you're not being abused, and also at the same time make sure that you're not abusing other people. I hope you learned a lot from today's show. So many news stories. We were packed today. I'll see you again tomorrow.
Attention, all Medicare beneficiaries who need assistance getting around their homes. There is a Medicare benefit that may qualify you for a new power chair